Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to my presentation. Today I will be talking about Peruvian and Bolivian music and how the countries have been influences both foreign and indigenous through their music and dances. Let's start with the location. I am holding it the wrong way. So you can see here, these green highlighted countries are Peru and Bolivia. Above Peru is Colombia and Ecuador, and below Bolivia is Argentina, Chile, and Paraguay. And then running down the east coast of, west coast of South Africa is the Andean Mountains. And the countries that are bordering the Andean Mountains are called the Andean countries. To the west of South America is the South Pacific Ocean, and to the east you have the Atlantic. Before the Andean region was colonized, the area was occupied by indigenous people, including the Quechua and Aymara people. The Quechua people being mostly in Peru and the Aymara people being in Bolivia. The indigenous people of the Andes valued music and dance and utilized many dances and instruments. Andean music uses lots of wind instruments, including sicus or zaponas, also known as guitarras, which are pictured here, which are a type of panpipe. Also included are panquillos, which are pan flutes, and quena, which are recorder-like wooden instruments. Sicus are played to accompany many different types of Andean music, and there are different sizes and variations of sicus depending on the region. You can see here, this woman plays both the quena and the siku, and listen to the reed quality of the sound. In the 15th and 16th century, the Andean region, especially Peru, was ruled by the Incas. They were mainly based out of Lima, Peru. Their culture was one of festivals and dances, music, and singing were all grouped under one word, taqui, which is Quechua for song. The Incas used a pentatonic scale in their music, which continues to be an important scale in Andean music. The Incas interspersed their life with music, whether for religious, intimidation, or agricultural purposes. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors conquered the Incan Empire. They suppressed the native music in favor of their own sacred music, so many of the pre-colonization records are only from the conquistadors themselves. As a result of the Spanish colonizers putting their own culture on the natives, a lot of Peruvian and Bolivian music is Spanish influenced, especially in the brass prevalent in the music as opposed to woodwinds of the traditional music. The colonization also resulted in a variety of Spanish-infused dances, and a variety of new instruments including the charango, a small string lute that is strummed kind of like a guitar. When the Spanish colonized Peru and Bolivia, they brought over African slaves. These slaves brought over aspects of African culture, including their music. As a result, Peruvian and Bolivian music became inspired by African culture, especially in reinforcing the value of dances. The African people also introduced call and response, an important facet to Peruvian music, creating unique Afro-Peruvian genres. Afro-Peruvian music is included in the wider genre of música criolla, a genre that encompasses the different cultures in Peruvian music. An instrument primarily used in Afro-Peruvian music is the cajon, which is played by sitting on top of it and slapping it. Also, in Afro-Peruvian music, the most important instruments are the stringed instruments and the percussion instruments. This is considered the most famous Afro-Peruvian song, and this cover by Caetro Solo is the most widespread version. Dances. An important dance in Peruvian and Bolivian history is the Morenada, an Afro-Andean dance dating back to colonial times. Despite its importance to both Peru and Bolivia, it is highly disputed which country the dance originated from. Each country strongly believes they originated the dance. It is performed at festivals in Peru, but it is even more so ingrained in Bolivian culture. It was recognized as cultural heritage of Bolivia in 2011. The conflict is as recent as even last year. I found multiple articles from September of 2021 detailing the conflict between the countries. Morenada is highly theatrical in nature, with extravagant costumes and masks, and is theorized to be a dance that mocks the white slave owners that occupied the Andes while also detailing the African slaves' plight. The Morenada is frequently performed at festivals and parades and is a beloved tradition in both countries. Another Peruvian dance, Other Peruvian dances include the guano, a couples dance that mixes rural and traditional music with more urban music, as well as Spanish, indigenous, and Western influences. Another Peruvian dance is the Marinera, a dance that fuses multiple influences such as Andean, Spanish, African, Romani, and Muslim influences to create a uniquely Peruvian dance. The dance takes from the Spanish fandango, but it also originated from the zamacueca, a dance with similar influences that is often accompanied by a drum. The Merenada is the national dance of Peru, with each region having a unique version of the dance. It is a couples dance that utilizes handkerchiefs to portray a flirtatious courtship. The Merenada is much more recreational than the Morenada, with not nearly the amount of theatrics to it, but there's still theatrics in the way the dancers interact with each other.
Como de esas picadas
In the 1960s, well, in the 1950s, there was a revival of música criolla, including Afro-Peruvian music. Then, in the 1960s, Nueva Canción music came to prominence. While not strictly an Andean music, the Nueva Canción music captured Latin America with its rebellious and socially aware lyrics. Nueva Canción is often associated with populist rights and revolution for the marginalized peoples of the countries. Traditional music blends with the brass sounds of urban music to create a unique sound that seeks to spread a message in modern times. Peruvian and Bolivian music honors all of its influences, whether indigenous, Spanish, African, or more, while also having its own completely unique sound and making those influences their own. Thank you.
Does anyone have questions for Azzy?
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Azzy.
Should I leave the mic on or turn it off?
On is fine.
Yeah, okay, good.